What's up guys, my name is Brandon and today Apple released the 4th beta of iOS 11 as expected, and in this video we're going to be going over 15 plus new features in iOS 11 beta 4. So let's not waste any time, let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you can see here, the update came in at around 375 megabytes here on my iPhone 7, which was running beta 3 before beta 4 here. So not a huge update, but there are quite a few new changes. So let's go ahead and take a look at the build number for beta 4. You can see down there, it is 15A5327G. So let's go and take a look at some of the new features here in iOS 11 Beta 4. And the very first one is a big one, especially for those of you who do not have 3D Touch compatible devices, because before Beta 4, you were not able to clear things from your notification center. So if you're on the lock screen or the notification center, you were not able to swipe over and clear the notification, but now that is a feature here in iOS 11 Beta 4. You also have the option to view there, and if we swipe to the right, you have the option to open. But not only that, you can do a long swipe and it will actually clear it for you. So let's go and do a long swipe all the way over and you can see it clears right there for you. And it's the same for the right side. If you slide all the way over to the right, it's going to open that notification for you right to that application. So obviously this was a feature in iOS 10, but for some reason it was not in any of the first 3 betas of iOS 11. So it's great to see it back now. And again, that's a big one for those of you without a 3D Touch compatible device. The next feature is another pretty big one that's very useful if you use the screen recording feature here in iOS 11, which I assume a good majority of you are going to be using this at some point in time. So now by default, when you click on the record button right here, you're going to see you get a countdown from 3, 2, 1, and that gives you enough time to get back to the home screen or the application you're in and start recording without you having to show, going into the control center and tapping that icon to record every single time you record a video. So this is extremely convenient for those of you who use this feature a lot, because obviously it's going to get very annoying for you to see, have to see yourself going into the control center here, tapping the icon and then closing out of it. It's going to catch you closing out of the control center and then going into the application. You now have a 3-second countdown, so you can go and get to where you want to get, and then it starts recording. So if you go into the Files application now, you're going to notice that a location is gone. So unfortunately, the On My iPhone location has been removed from the Files app, both on iPhone and on iPad. Now this may just be temporary, which I hope it is temporary, but as you can see here, it is completely gone from the Files application. We now have a new animation for low power mode, the toggle here in Control Center. So if we go ahead and tap this right here at the bottom, you're gonna notice we have a new animation there. Really cool, it just shows the battery, it's like yellow, and then it goes down to indicate that you are in low power mode. Really cool little animation there. Now here's another good one. If we go ahead and close out of everything in our app switcher here, you're gonna notice that once we close out of everything, the app switcher automatically closes itself and doesn't just stay there. So in the previous 3 betas, when you close out of all the applications, the app switcher would still be invoked. It would still be active and it would just have a home card right there. And you'd have to click on that to go back home. So now it disappears by itself, which is really convenient. And not only that, but if you notice that when I was closing out of the applications, when I was swiping up, it seemed a lot smoother than it has been in any of the previous 3 betas here on iOS 11. And then finally, you can't actually open the app switcher at all if you don't have any applications running. So if you go ahead and double tap, you're going to notice, and you get a little haptic vibration there, a little haptic feedback there, telling you you're not able to invoke the app switcher if you don't have any applications open. So that's pretty cool, and it prevents you from doing something like that on accident. If you take a close look at the contacts, the notes, and the reminders icons there, you're going to notice that all 3 of them have been redesigned here in iOS 11 Beta 4. Now I'm not a big fan at all of the reminders icon. It almost looks like a mistake that they put the dots on the right side instead of the left. So we'll have to see if that gets changed in Beta 5. But I'm actually a pretty big fan of the contacts and the notes icons here. So if you guys remember in Beta 3, there was a bug where if you 3D touched on an icon and if you kept holding, it would actually put all the icons into wiggle mode. But you can see now that that has been fixed here in Beta 4. You can no longer 3D touch and go into wiggle mode. So if we go into settings, we go to general, you can see now we have a new option here, a dedicated section here for Airdrop in settings. So this is pretty convenient if you do use Airdrop. As you can see, I don't use it myself, but this can be pretty convenient if you do use it with its own dedicated slot here in the settings application. And if you take a look at the status bar here, you're gonna notice that the Bluetooth icon is still bold, like it's actually connected to something, but it's not. And if you remember, I mentioned this in Beta 3, how that was a new feature in Beta 3, but it could have been a bug, but now it appears that it may not be a bug, and that it may actually just stay that bold color instead of the faded out gray color when it's not connected here in iOS 11. I hope it's still a bug. I hope it's gonna go back to the gray, but that is still there here in Beta 4. Also in the status bar, if you look at the Wi-Fi bars right there, you're gonna notice that they're a little bit thicker. It may take you, you may not realize this unless you have another device with iOS 11 Beta 3 and you can kind of compare them, but take my word for it, they are a little bit thicker here in beta 4. And then finally, if we go into settings, Siri, you can see now we have the option to disable pressing home for Siri. So you can now disable Siri on the home screen if you wanted to. And then there are a few other small changes like a Touch ID splash menu from the lock screen. If you go ahead and try to open up an app from the lock screen, it's going to show you this new look for the Touch ID. So you have to put in your Touch ID. A few other small minor features and changes here in beta 4, but those are the good ones that I've found so far here within the first hour of playing around with iOS 11 beta 4. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you found any new features that I didn't cover, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below. Again, it is early, so I'm sure there's other features out there that I didn't mention, but I will make a video, the week later like I always do, showing you some of the new features that I discovered later on as time goes on. And then of course, I'll touch on battery life and the fluidity and how smooth it is and things like that as well. So stay tuned for that video. But anyways, thanks again guys for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon.